Okay, so what I have here that we can look at later if you want, something I put together. This is the hero picture. Yawata, Iwamarata, Sakaya crossing the street.
Sakaya?
Sakaya.
Sayaka ね。
Yeah, yeah.
Sayak.
That is you, I think?
Almost.
Is
Oh,
that you?
maybe. Yeah, might
Yeah, I
be.
think
Yeah,
that
this
is you.
might be. Yeah, me.
Of course, the road was built in the early part of the 17th century.
17th century.
But in the 19th century, Hiroshige and Asen prints, these are all the prints. Fukaya was for lots of prostitutes in Fukaya.
Oh yeah, it says Fukaya no Eki. Fukaya station.
Fukaya station.
Shuku. Much girls to entertain the travellers there. These are just some pictures from 2018 trip. This is the first book that we can look at.
Yeah.
And this is from the exhibition that I just had in Japan. My friend Asai sent this over from Nagoya. I didn't get to this exhibition, so if it's there if we need to look at it. I think this was just before I met you, an exhibition my friend Peter Kelly I've known for a very long time, and we put together an exhibition, photographs we have taken in Japan from 1988 through to 2004. And this is in Kyoto, but this looks just the same now, this place. Some places don't look the same.
Yeah, she's from Kyoto actually.
That's where I finished, at Sanjo Ohashi.
Oh, I usually use Sanjo
Well, that is the last place on the Nakasendo.
Oh, you go Nakasendo?
Oh, no.
No.
Small part. Mostly I went by train, drive some of it, walk some short bits. When I travelled, I carried this diary. It took me 22 days.
The whole Nakasendo.
Yeah. I would have liked to have taken much longer, but that's all I had time for. There are 69 shuku. I could have very easily spent 69 days.
So Shuko means like a station?
Post
The
town,
place
post
to...
town station,
okay,
yes.
post and station. And you visited all of them?
Yes. 2 of them I photographed from the train window as I went past.
So you took all the photos?
I'll show you. These are some of the maps and things that I found. I also walked with this. This was my year's research.
Research.
Yeah, I did 1 year on the internet finding out about the Nakasendo so I could go to the right place.
Oh, okay. Wow. It's such a long project. Why did you get interested in Nakasendo?
Yeah.
Why
Okay.
started it?
I
Yeah,
think-
you wanna have a seat?
I think for this reason. For a long time I wasn't sure why I started to do it.
Oh, okay. So even yourself?
I told you that we have friends at Warraby and Misa, we have,
Warabishi.
Ah, Warabi.
Not Wallaby.
Wallaby.
Wallaby City.
we have known Misa since she was 19 and now both of her children are older than that. But she has a daughter, Arissa. Noki and I get on very well. Noki loves cooking and I love cooking.
Oh, okay. Same home.
So if we are in Saitama or if we are in Buppen Creek, we take it in turns to cook. And I cook one night, he cooks the next night, and we watch each other. Anyway, I have known Noki since he was born, and at one point, he showed us a school assignment,
Yeah.
which was on the Nakasendo. I think that's where I first got interested.
Oh, okay.
Because they live in Warraby, because Warraby is one of the shuku, and because he showed me these. Noki growing up at the Warraby Honjin. Honjin is the big daimyo. Each shuku had to have one Honjin. And then Waki Honjin for samurai. But I think that's why I first got interested. I'm not quite sure.
Okay. What makes you more interested or even make a decision to take all the photo of Nakasendo? You have any certain reason or?
I think that I just worked it out as I went along. I have exhibited photographs on gallery walls like this. 40 years, I guess, or maybe longer. And so maybe when I set out from Nihonbashi, I think even the day I set out, I was still thinking about doing an exhibition of photographs. But only a few days later, when I was into it, I realized that I was taking the wrong sort of pictures for an exhibition.
Wrong sort of picture.
Some of them were just pictures of a road or just pictures of a bridge. And that is a very historical bridge. That is Itabashi.
Yes.
Artistically important.
Mm.
And then also I met people and there were private stories that became important. And I thought there are many different things happening together here. There is history, there is art photography, there is personal experience, there is a guide to travelling the Nakasendo, many things. So by the time I was a few days in, I decided to make it into a book, and I have these many things. See, I mean, I really like this picture of the eggplant, but I would never ever put that in an exhibition.
Oh, okay.
I think it's important, and I think it tells people things, but I would not normally put that in an exhibition.
So, even though I'm Japanese, but I didn't know much about the Nakasendo, honestly. I think you know much more than
I know quite a lot about the Nakasendo. Some Japanese people say to me, you know so much more about Japan than me, but I do not know more about Japan than them. I know more about one road.
Only Nakasendo.
The trip for me was very exciting because it took me to places that I would not normally go. Even though I had to go there, it was also throwing darts at a map to see where I was going, because some of the places were a bit touristy and some of the places weren't at all touristy. Some of the places people saw my face and started to talk to me because they weren't used to seeing European faces there. I think we found some places we really like. When we go into the other books on the computer, two of the most touristy places, one is Magome and one is Tsumago. I think they are both in Nagano. We went from Nihonbashi in Tokyo, which is very close to the Imperial Palace and Tokyo Station, followed the Nakasendo, which goes up into Saitama and along Saitama, down into Guma, and down into Nagano, part of Nagano, not the really mountainous part, then crosses the Wada Toge, goes into Magome and Tsumago that are touristy places. Then it goes west into Gifu and then down on the eastern side of Biwako in Shigaken, around the bottom and into Kyoto. Through Otsu, you would know Otsu.
Otsu. Yeah.
As I said, I did most of it by train, but there is a section in the middle in Nagano where there are no train lines nearby.
So around that area.
And a big area there and a small area there. And Magome and Tsumago both were forgotten villages. There was no train station. They looked very much like the same as they did in 300-400 years ago. So they became touristy. There were laws passed. There were laws passed that said all the electricity had to go underground, not to spoil the look of it. And they are the best known of them. Now, another place that was a bit like that, and we liked it more than those two because there were fewer tourists, is a place called Narai. I think it's still in Nagano. I can show you where they all are on the map. We stayed at various places. Sometimes we just stayed at a business hotel so that we could... But that night in Narai, we stayed at a rokkan and it was a beautiful meal. And that is one of our favourite places in Japan, I think, isn't it? I could easily go for a 3-week holiday in Narai.
Oh, really?
It felt like we were back in time, way back in the past.
Oh, wow.
And even though Magome and Tsumago tried to do that, there were too many tourists to have that feeling.
This is the first part of your 3 walks.
Yes, that goes to Sakamoto, which is the last of the shoku in Gumaken. The next one that I'll start the next book at is Karuizawa.
Oh, Karuizawa.
And
yeah.
Karuizawa is in Nagano.
The very edge of Nagano
And
on the Gunma side.
It is. You probably know Takasaki a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I've been
thought
there
you
a
would
couple
know it.
times. Yeah.
And so, but that is the last of the, when you turn south, there are another 4 or 5 until you get to Sakamoto. And they were on a train line, and at Sakamoto, the train line went tunnels and special trains over the hill to Karuizawa. Closed down when Shinkansen went a big loop round from Takasaki. Doesn't go across the hill anymore. The old railway line, even the tunnels have been turned into walking tracks. So you can walk across the Toge, I forget what the name of it is. The Usui Toge.
Usui Toge? Can we walk through?
Yeah, from Sakamoto to Karuizawa across
There was a tunnel which used to be
train line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Now it is a walking track. All the railway line, the tunnels, the bridges now are a walking track.
So did you walk through that?
Not enough time and probably not enough energy.
How long? Do you know how long did it takes to walk through the toll gate?
In the old days, you had to do it in one day.
I know this, yeah.
It probably takes you all day if you are fit.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I wish I am.
It was the middle of summer when I went. It was very hot. I walked from the last station up to Sakamoto. It's up a steep hill. I was very hot that day. In the Tokugawa period, there were no vehicles with wheels allowed on the Nakasendo. Travel by palanquin,
Mikoshi?
Kago.
Kago.
Were the only ways. You weren't allowed to take a cart or a
Yeah.
carriage on.
Sounds really,
I
really
think
hard.
I think it would have been horrible for the people carrying the cargo.
Yeah.
But I think even if you were in the cargo, it wouldn't have been very comfortable.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, must be shaking all the time. Yeah, I've been to Karuiza a couple of times by car, and I drove up to the Usui toll gate.
Road over there would be near the old Nakasendo, a bit further east, but the same sort of country.
Oh, okay. Nihonbashi.
Nihonbashi.
Yeah, these are really Japanese scenery in Japan, in Tokyo. Nihonbashi to Sakamoto.
Sometimes things happen when you're a photographer. Poor man.
Which place is the best in Nakasendo?
They were so different that it's very hard to say, but as I said before, we really liked Narai. I can show you that on the screen later.
Is it like a middle part of the Nakasendo?
Yeah, sometimes the Nakasendo is called the Kiso Kaido, and the Kiso Kaido is the part really where the Kisogawa flows, at the top of the Kisogawa. Yeah, that is past Warrabe, that is in Urawa.
Urawa.
This is lovely ramen shop.
Ramen.
Ramen shop.
You like ramen?
I do like ramen. My friend Noki, the young boy, he is very fussy about his ramen. Oh, not good enough. Not good enough. Yes, that one. There is a hotel near the station, which is where the Honjin, the original Honjin was, and they've got a Nakasendo bar on the roof.
Nakasendo bar on the
Yeah,
roof. Oh, so did you go
yes, but it wasn't open. We did go up. We did go up and have a look. So that is in the Omiya temple, where the road originally went through the temple.
And Ageo, yeah. Yeah, I'm familiar with all those names because I'm from Saitama Prefecture, and when I go to Tokyo, I use Takasaki line, the train.
Yes.
Yeah, the only line go to Tokyo, which means
Yes.
I need to stop all the stations. This is Honjin as well.
Yeah.
Okigawashuku Honjin.
This was at Okagawa, and this was the first place that seemed to a big deal of the Nakasendo. If you go to Itabashi, it's just part of Tokyo, By the time you get here, they are putting up signs saying this is where the Honjin is. They're just starting to celebrate the history when you get up this far.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You mean from area Ageo
That's-
Nakasendo journey?
Well, you're starting to get the feel of it by then.
Oh, yeah.
Although in Tokyo, there's a certain feel about it. All of the Nakasendo was all about 6 or 7 meters wide. The roads sort of have the same look anywhere. You can sort of say, oh, that was probably the Nakasendo. You know?
Ah, okay,
And
yeah.
even though they've changed so much, it's the right width and it feels...
So even though the city was become really urban,
Yeah,
the width of the Nakasendo is still same.
yeah.
Mm.
I know what I'm looking for.
Mm. Heading to the north of Saitama
Yes, yes.
from Itabashi.
Okay, so
Yeah.
have you been to Yagihashi in Kumagaya? Did you know if you go in the front door or the back door and go through the aisle, did you know that is exactly where the Nakasendo was?
Really?
Yeah. Square building, and there is an aisle that goes through like that. That is the Nakasendo aisle.
So Yagihashi was built up department store on the
Yeah.
exactly on the place of the Nakasendo.
Kumagaya was bombed flat in
Yeah,
World War II,
yeah.
and they built the town more or less where the old roads were, but they built this big department store right in the middle, and they put they put the aisle right through. So when you go in to buy your bread rolls or
Yeah,
your
yeah.
perfume,
Uh-huh.
you are buying it where the samurai and the daimyo once walked.
Oh wow! So is this the one?
Yes, I had to ask permission to photograph in here.
Ah, yeah, in here.
This is all in Yagihashi.
I
So
think
next time you go home,
Yeah, I have to visit
take your family to Yagihashi
Yagihashi.
and
Walk through the
walk
aisle.
through and think, once the emperor was here, you know,
yeah.
exactly where the Nakasendo was.
大名たちが通った道だそうです。
This is the Nakasendo aisle goes down.
シェフさん、かき氷。
Hot day.
Did you have that?
Yes,
Oh. You remember which flavor did you get?
probably lemon. I don't
Lemon.
remember.
11.
Yuzu. I don't remember.
Like a citrus fruit. Yeah, here we are.
There is Sayaka across the road.
Is that like Fukaya or? Ah, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Probably.
This is the area to the east. This pine tree was probably, it is north, have you been to Ine? North of Kyoto.
North of Kyoto.
ああ、ありますあります。
You made up this memory travel album into the picture book.
Yeah, yeah.
How many times have you visited Japan?
Oh, about 10.
エイジ君がいない間にそもそもなんで日本交流するようになったのって聞いたら Queensland Photographer Group and similar purpose group in Nagoya started to talk each other or connect it.
Yeah. Another one of our good friends, we always called him Ken,
Ken.
but his name was Mitsuo Yamane.
How the Ken come from?
I think when we first met them in 1980s, they all found easy names for us.
Ah,
Yoshitiro Asai became Asai, Mitsuo Yamane became Ken. One of them even came up to me and said, "Just call me Bear."
Bear.
Bear.
So I've always called him Bear.
Hi, Bear.
Yeah.
How are you?
Anyway, he was my very close friend, stayed in this house. A very lovely man and a photographer, but also when he was about 50, he apprenticed himself to become a woodblock printer, hanga.
Yeah,
Moku
hanga.
hanga.
Moku hanga.
For 10 years he worked teacher.
10 years.
For 10 years he could not do his own designs. For 10
Like
years,
apprentice.
yeah, for 10 years he had to copy the old work. This is him here making prints when he was about 60. But unfortunately he died not long after that.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you so much. これ思い出アルバムを
思い出アルバム
本にしちゃうっていうフォトグラファーのすごいところ。
Right, would you like to go into the other room or?
So I'd like to just show
Some
my
of
friend
these?
my hometown
Yes, yes.
and exactly the path that I walked through.
Hiroshiga had already done 59 stages of the Tokaido, but then he was commissioned to do the 69 stations of the Kisokaido. I think he lost a bit of interest at the end because he got Asen in to do some of them too. Between them, they have done all of them.
So yeah, I'd like to show your picture about my hometown. So yeah, this is the Fukaya part.
We stayed in a hotel there for 2 nights, I think. And so even though I was travelling to the other towns up and down the road, kept coming back. And so these are taken over a few days. We walked and we, found places. And
Yeah, I was so surprised when I saw this picture because
That is right
Yeah,
near where
I-
you live.
I walked through this road to go to school. Yeah, so that's the exact place that I walked through. Yeah, and I remember there is like many local festival. People gather around and dancing the bone dance and sort of like that.
So the taxi driver, when we were there, didn't speak very good English, but he knew what I was doing,
Oh, okay.
and he was really, really helpful, and he drove us places near your home. This is close to your home. This, I don't know if you know this sweet shop. All of a sudden, he stops the taxi in the middle of the Nakasendo. He puts the lights on, and he locks the car, and he runs into this shop and leaves us in the car, and then comes out again with sweets for us.
Ah, that's so sweet.
Here's a present from me.
So yeah, he must have loved this sweet. So yeah, my grandfather was a taxi driver as well in Fukaya.
So there is an overpass across the road there, and that is looking back, and there is the ramen shop down here.
I was working Honjo.
It is only about 6 kilometres or something like that away. Yes, yeah, very close.
Yeah, very cool. And then Honjo to Shinmachi. I went to the university in Shinmachi.
Okay. Well, Shinmachi is one of the places where you can really see the old Nakasendo. There is the bridge, and the shuku was near the bridge, but you can sort of look down from the bridge, and you can see that's what the Nakasendo looks like. It's
Narrower than the road these days.
We had a really lovely experience in Karagano. Karagano is where the Nikko Kaido or road breaks off, and I knew that was there, so I went looking from the railway station, and this woman came out of the tea shop, and she said, "Come in for tea," and I said, "I've got to take this photograph, but I'll come back." We went down, we photographed. This is where the road splits up here, Nakasendo and road to Nikko. And we came back to the tea shop and started talking to this lady and telling her what we'd done. Next thing, this is was an old building. It wasn't as old as the Nakasendo, but it was old. Would you like to come up into the roof and look at the rafters?
Come up the roof?
We went inside the roof to look at the old rafters.
Yeah.
You know, we had beautiful cup of tea with them, with her and her. And then we set off back to the railway station to go back to Takasaki, put our ticket and got on the platform. And this woman was running up after us, and she went through without showing a ticket or anything. She just knew the station master, and she had folded up some little paper doves to give to us. It's lovely. You know, things like that happen to me all the time. Nice things like that.
I think they're also happy someone who's even not the Japanese get interested in what they're doing so much.
Sure. This was a lovely night in Takasaki. It was just the end of the night, and we went into this little izakaya. The boys who ran it was called something wonderful. The Laugh A Lot Barbecue, it was called. But anyway, we walked in, and the first thing they said was, "No English, no English." And of course, by the end of the night, we're chatting away with them. Their English was perfect, you know.
Oh, yeah, can communicate. Yeah, good enough.
So then this is the part that I'm talking about, where it gets much quieter places. This is the road, and this is a walkway next to the canal, and I still don't know whether that was the Nakasendo or that was the Nakasendo.
未だにどっちがなんか先導なのかわかんないね。
Railway line, very quiet. No tourists. Fish for ayu.
Ayu?
Ayu.
From the railway station, you walk down the hill to the river where they were fishing, and then up the hill to the town.
Finally, Sakamoto.
Sakamoto,
End of the first
and that is, so this is Osui Toga. Some old buildings. Rugged mountains.
Thank you.
Wow.
We'll come through and have a look at some of the other places. So that is Wada Toge, very steep and a very long, I forget how many kilometres that is, but a big one between and Shimosuwa. That was at Karuizawa.
Oh, very foggy.
I learnt to drive in Japan at 5 o'clock at night with a big fog. I was terrified.
Absolutely.
So I hired a car and peak hour, everyone finished work, and a fog that was so thick that the locals were photographing it. It was thicker than normal. It does have a lot of fog up there.
Yeah.
Before the next place is interesting because there is this coffee shop. It's just off the Nakasendo, maybe 500 metres. And this was John Lennon and Yoko Ono's favourite coffee shop when they lived in Karuizawa. So there are many memorabilia, and this woman, she owns it now. It was been in the family. She remembers them when she was a young girl.
So the John Lennon and the Yoko Ono
Yes.
visited.
And there are marks on the trees where John used to measure Sean's height. Yeah, so that was an interesting one.
Yeah, it is.
Oiwake this is now you're travelling south, and this picture here, the town, the Shuku is here, is through to here, which is the Nakasendo, the old Nakasendo. This road goes up to Nikko. Oiwake means the joining.
Like a cross.
And the town is also called that. I must show you Shiojiri. Shiojiri is one of the rivers, and basically the Shuku is here and the next Shuku is here. So if you walk there now, you can probably do it in 10 minutes from one Shuku to the next.
Very
But
close.
because this is the biggest river in Japan, it floods. Sometimes they were stuck there or stuck here. They had to have two either side of the river.
Yeah.
But when we pulled up first on the Shiojiri side, the first thing we saw was this junk shop. It was amazing. He was the proprietor, and stuff was just on the footpath, as you can see. When he closed the shop at night, everything just stayed on the footpath. There were horse-drawn fire engines, there were cannons. Anyway, we got inside, and the first thing you see is his desk, and there is this behind the desk, and Susie makes films. Susie says, "What's that?" And it's a 1950s Seven Samurai movie poster.
Kurosawa Akira.
Yeah,
Akira
so
Kurosawa.
she had to buy that and take it home. It's on the table. Yeah, she bought it and we carried it with us along the Nakasendo. But that's what she saw, and she knew. So when we got near Wada, it started to rain. That's Wada. But as I said, it's a very big day's journey from Wada to the next one. 21.6 kilometres. Every traveller stayed either at that Shuku or that Shuku because it was a long way and it was very steep. These there too. This is at Shimosua. This is the festival you have probably heard of every 7 years. Some people ride these logs down the hill. Bed and breakfast with an Australian husband and a Japanese wife and their child, and that was their view from their bed and breakfast. And this is Suwako.
諏訪湖って君の名の
聖地。そうなんだ。Suwa Lake was in a famous movie, animation movie in Japan currently, so she knew the name.
Okay. The woodblock print in the book shows Suwako. It is frozen, and the travellers going along the road take a shortcut across the frozen lake. What I found, this one here, this is exactly the same place. So this is the same view as in the print today with the mobile phone. And okay, so now we get to Narai, Nikawa to Narai. This is a very steep valley, hills up both sides, a railway line and a river, a fast-flowing river. This is this old bridge that has been rebuilt, but it's been rebuilt in the traditional way with no nails or anything.
No nails.
No, just held together with
組みで作ってある。
an old railway train from a forestry train. This is Narai. That's what it looks like now. And our dinner that night, I will give you a piece. And I thought this was interesting.
Yeah, the bells, those bells really works or not.
I don't either. I think if I was a bear, I would think, oh, yeah, we stayed in one of these buildings.
So you can stay there.
Yeah, that was the rock arm we stayed at overnight. So down the Kiso Valley, probably many things I could show you. Samurai Museum, but we get to... I like this place, and this was just a little glass display on the side of the road. Just someone had made it beautiful and set it up, so I photographed it. This is Nojiri, where we stayed for a few nights, and this is Nojiri.
Oh, that's not your t-shirt.
Yes.
Nojiri.
Same.
Same. Oh, yeah, same picture.
Okay, Tsumago, it is very traditional with paved roads and you can't take cars there, but in the middle of it all was this very fashionable shop, and I think those pants were sort of $400 or something, you know. We're walking down the road, this man is sitting on the side of the road on his step, and he sees us and he says, "Where are you from?"
In English?
Yeah.
Oh.
I said, "We're from Australia." And he's, "Wait." And he ran in and he got his wallet, and he said, I found Australia.
Yes, Australia.
I think he does it all day to everybody. I think he finds out where everybody has come from. And the next place was Magome, which monastery for the night, but it is also very traditional. Well, I walked this bit. This is the original stones of the Nakasendo. There's a tea house in the middle of it all. You can't see it here, and this was the tea house where that man worked. That is Man Falls and Woman Falls.
Do you know why these don't have that name? Any information about it? Because I've never heard of the men falls and female falls.
Apparently it's about Miyamoto Musashi, and apparently he sat at the Man Falls, and Otsu, I think, who was someone who travelled with him, sat the Woman Falls. And there's supposed to be fairies living in this tree. So this is where we stayed, this monastery with these gardens. Very quickly I'll show you the last one. I've realised you've done a lot, but yes, it will have. You will know a few places in this one.
京都のなんでところ
北の方やから三条大橋とか Living Notes before
I liked Otsu. I liked watching all the trains.
そんな大津って電車すごい
いやー JR 一本
三条大橋
琵琶湖疎水ってなんて言うんですかね京都と大阪つなぐそうです You know 琵琶湖疎水 The water lake water
Yes,
come
yes,
to
yes.
the Kyoto
Yes.
road to mountain you walk
No, I didn't walk there, no. The road, if you have Iwako there, the Nakasendo came down round there to Kyoto, but the rich people could get a boat.
あ
いや
あ知ってるんだ
ボートで通れるんですよ
So now the ordinary
疎水
people can
Okay, so this is, at this stage, we were fairly close to Nagoya. Some of my photographer friends come with me. We stayed the night in Nagoya and drove up and back. But this print here has this rock, but in fact, that's what the rock really looks like. Anyway, it was good being with them for lots of reasons. This girl was one of the translators who I still write to. That's where the Honjin originally was.
Is it school now?
It's a school now, yeah. Then this Jinja. And this was the, what do you call him, the master, the man who looked after the shrine, shrine master.
Shrine master.
And he saw us there and came out and talked to us. Every year they have a big procession with a big float, and the float lives in this building. So it was all locked up, but he opened it up for us. There is the float inside. That all gets decorated, of course. There it is, picture of it. And he took us to other places. That is the gardens of the shrine, and that is part of the Nakasendo. And he took us to this class that was happening where the women were making straw raincoats, traditional straw raincoat.
What are they?
And then we said goodbye to him and we travelled up. Next thing we know, he's riding his push bike up after us to tell us about this one here, the print. So it was very nice to meet him. Okay, now why this is important, because on this road between Okute and Hosokote, the road goes there, but there's a bit of the old Nakasendo that was lost in the bush for many years, and they only found it in the 1950s. So it is now open only to walking. So we walked along there. It's one of my Shashinka friends, and this is all taken on that walking part that was lost for many years. And this is also interesting. This is the original Nakasendo where everyone would have travelled. And I've always thought when I saw these, they were big flat rocks. In fact, they're shaped like teeth and they go down into the ground.
Oh, okay, so these are like
They are wedged into the ground.
for walk through.
400 years old, those rocks, where they have laid there. Oh, I want to show you this one. We went out fishing for ayu. Traditional way with flame, near Gifu. fish come up to the flame, and the cormorant, the birds, what do you call them? The birds have a ring around their neck, and they can catch the fish, but they can't swallow them.
Maybe
Ukai.
Ukai.
yeah.
Yeah, ukai fishing.
取り使った
So there are birds down under the water on the strings.
And the fish are attracted by the flames and
Yeah,
touch them.
yeah. They get fed afterwards. So that was interesting. That was near Gifu. I have to show you Sekigahara. Some of these pictures are from a later visit because I didn't know at the time, but anyway, this was Sekigahara, and they have Battle of Sekigahara scenes painted on the soft drink machines. And we also had heard about special tea shop there, and we found that a lot of difficulty. We found the tea shop, and she was a very interesting lady. She had two jobs. She made special tea to sell, and do you know pallets for forklifts, the wooden things that you
Yeah.
Okay, her other job was making pallets.
Making pallets, not the using them.
No, making them. She made them out the back of the tea shop.
That's really unique career.
And also her English wasn't very good. Susie and her communicated really well. Found out they were the same age and found out son was married in Sydney. What I thought was very interesting, she boiled the kettle of water and she's talking to Susie. And the whole time she's talking to Susie, she's doing that.
Like checking the temperature?
Yeah. And
Automatically.
then all of a sudden said, oh, now, and poured the...
So she can feel it.
Anyway, at that stage I didn't know about Sekigahara Warland, but I went back there at a later visit. Many paddocks full of these.
Oh, it looks like a historical amusement park or something.
Yeah. And that's Sekigahara Station, so that's important to me. Imas was one of the places, only photographed from the train, and I went back there later, a couple of years later, and I walked through there and photographed that. Basically now we're getting to that area. First of all, Kashiwabara, Biwako. For most of this trip, starting at the next one, here at Bunba, we travelled with a friend. We actually met her on an aeroplane. She had been on a holiday to Cairns, and we were going to Japan.
Oh, okay.
And we talked on the aeroplane, and we have now been friends for about 10 or 12 years.
Wow.
You know, I sent her birthday wishes a few days ago, but anyway, we travelled this with her in her car. She took 2 days off work, and as you know, that's a big deal in Japan to take 2 days off work, but she did that for us. So yeah, Bunba is one of the top ones on Biwako. This man saw us walking down the road and invited us in to look at his bonsai. And apparently many people in Bunba are called Bunba-san. So yeah, here's Mr. Bunba.
Oh, he's famous in Bamba.
This is Torimoto in that area. Takamiya, we're getting closer all the time, further and further south. That is our friend, Miyuki. She is very tall and very thin, and she eats all the time.
Jealous.
She has 3 big meals a day and plenty of dessert. Anyway, yeah, that was travelled with us. She took us to tea house. Now, this print isn't from the Nakasendo, but this is at Kusatsu. Do you know Kusatsu?
I know.
Okay, from Kyoto, you travel around the bottom of the lake, you go north, and at Kusatsu, the Tokaido breaks off. So this is near. That's the Nakasendo, and the Tokaido goes up there. But this print was from the Tokaido series, and Miyuki said, I know this tea house, it is still there 200 years later. So she took us to this tea house. This is on the Nakasendo, and the Tokaido is just round there. There we are. Nakasendo, Tokaido. Kutsatsu and Otsu, and that is Otsu. This is what I was saying about all the trains and the trams.
Yeah, trams.
You could sit and watch it for hours. It was fantastic.
どこだろう
Was it bigger?
I used this bridge when I was elementary school.
Ah, yes. Well, that was the Nakasendo.
Oh, really?
Oh my god.
It's Seta Bridge, yes.
Bridge, yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Maybe near here. But
I walked across it too. You and me.
Can I see this map? This one. I know this place.
Here we go. There we go.
Yeah.
So this is the Seto Bridge here.
Yes. すごい。なんか 中山道だったんですね。
ね She didn't even know that bridge was part of Nakasendo.
Yeah.
I often go
Yes,
this
yes.
station too.
そうなの
Otsu. Biwako, same place.
Mhm,
Same.
Same angle.
本当にロードトリップですね。
三条大橋。
One years ago, 三条大橋 is fixed and new.
Good.
It's very clean and more big.
But looks the same?
It was the same, but not so old.
ああ、じゃあ
Yeah,
同じ
yeah,
ように
yeah.
いくつか。
No, good.
同じ。
Good. Because Nihonbashi, I think, still has the big concrete freeway across it now, but they're going to take it away. They're going to take it. That was built for maybe an old Olympics or something, put across. And at any rate, they're going to get rid of it. Going to look like originally.
ああ、the old one.
Yeah, so that's nice.
I know the road.
She's familiar with those.
Sanjo Dori.
三条通り。Yeah. I work part-time job near here. I've never seen like
That is right near Sanjo Ohashi. Very close.
見たことない。
帰ったら探
If,
さないとね。
keep walking up to Sanjo Ohashi.
Who's this?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
No one is safe when I have my camera.
I like this parfait shop.
Now,
カラフルや。
I have to tell you a story about that parfait shop. I had worked very hard for 3 weeks till he met my nephew on the bridge. He was at a conference in Kyoto and finished the trip. I needed a beer so badly. We went straight to a bar for a cold beer, but I walked past here and to this day I regret not buying a tempura prawn parfait.
Yes.
I have to go back to Kyoto just to have a tempura prawn. I needed a beer more, but I wish I can get a beer anytime. I can never get another tempura.
Yeah, tempura cafe.
あ
The other parfait is very good. I've never tried this one.
今日まで寄らなかったことを後悔してくれし
And this was my last picture.
路上ライブ
Busking Sanjo Ohashi.
Yeah. They often do like this.
The end of the trip, she was there singing, and
As if it's like a ending song.
yeah. You know, picture is blurred and everything, and it doesn't matter. It gets the right feeling. So that's it.
Wow,
Wow, thank you so much.
That was such a great
Okay, so 2 things.